silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Mr. Tony.
Please hold it down. Please hold it down over there. Oh! It's great that we're here on Friday, and unfortunately, a member of the administration who has apologized for the action is the reason that we're here today. So in order to be abundantly safe on the action of the superintendent's recommendations, we are holding another meeting. We can go to the first item, which is the discussion item, layoffs of certified and non-certified staff. Superintendent Crowley, did you want to say anything?
Mr. Jonas, can we put the personnel report first and then go into the layoffs, please?
I don't have a problem with that. Does any of the school committee have a problem with that?
No.
No, it's fine with me.
Okay, so then we will go directly to superintendent.
Tony, I can't hear you.
Chuck, so I can stay focused on this somewhat. The only difference on paperwork is the words from termination to layoffs. Would I be correct from Tuesday night meeting to now?
What? I don't, no, I'm in the personnel, superintendent personnel report right now, Tony.
We're not on the layoff yet, Tony.
Okay, thank you guys. Go ahead.
All right, so I'd just like to have you vote on the retirements. Laura Harris, science teacher at Riverside Middle School, effective at the end of the school 2019-2020 school year.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Next is the resignation. Yes. Who's calling me? Hello? I can't hear. All right, resignation, Jessica Gomes, paraprofessional, Martin Middle School, effective 5/20/2020. I'm just reaffirming these votes. Nothing changed here.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and recalls from the non-renewal list. These were teachers that were non-renewed in our February meeting, and the principals want them off that list, and some of them actually go on to the layoff list. That's these three teachers here: Russell Lewandowski, social studies teacher at Martin Middle School; Mary Duchanek, grade 5 teacher, Kent Heights; and Abigail Jaffa, special education, self-contained at Waddington.
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we will go to the layoff list of teachers. There is one change here. As you can see, we have one less teacher that is on the layoff list. Okay. Hello? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. There's just a lot of background noise.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So
No,
it is
it's not, no.
numbers, you're going to be voting on numbers 1 through 33 for teacher layoffs.
Before we do that, can I ask a few questions?
Yeah.
I've gotten some inquiries and there were some accusations on social media and I believe misunderstandings. It is my belief that this horrendous pandemic that we have has not only taken 100,000 lives, but it's shattered budgets. We have been told to prepare for the worst, being 10% of our state aid. $3.5 million may not be coming our way next November 1st, correct?
Correct.
And you asked, along with other superintendents, for an extension of the law to not lay off people until July 1st to avoid exactly this, until we were sure of the dollar amount.
Correct.
And you were told no. And the governor did not issue an executive order doing it. So we're left with, by June 1st, we have to lay people off, or if in fact they do cut state aid and we have to come up with the money, we can't run on a deficit budget. We in fact would devastate our schools. If we did not cut this money now, we would be closing schools, not having heat, or I don't know what would happen.
I don't either.
Because $3.5 million is incredible. It is my belief that our politicians in Rhode Island and elsewhere are fighting like crazy to make sure this doesn't happen. And that's my sincere hope. But I also look at this as an insurance. To me, if we were to vote no, I think it would be reckless and irresponsible of us as elected officials to put this city in that kind of jeopardy by not voting for this, because it's my understanding that if in fact she comes back and says, okay, it's not 10%, it's 2%, we have until November 1st to make adjustments to our budget and recall these people. Am I right?
Actually, we're a lucky district because our budget isn't due to the city until around the 1st of October. So we're going to start working on this in July, whereas other districts already have their budget submitted and they have some issues.
So we would not have to, within the next before June 1st, make these crazy cuts. Now, like the other night, people were talking about delaying grass cutting and not waxing floors and turning off lights. We're not even going to scratch $3.5 million. We cannot cut $3.5 million without touching salaries. I'm hoping we're told it's not $3.5 million, but that might not happen. So we have to be responsible here, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. I just want. People have been accusing me, a teacher in this district for 33 years, of not fighting for our staff. And if anybody knows me, that's all I ever did in my career was fight for my colleagues and friends. And for someone to put on social media that I am one of the school committee members who is not willing to think outside the box and put staff members in a situation, there's no way. They don't know me and I resent this. And 2 weeks in a row now, last week it was the graduation, people wanting me to, some mysterious vote I was supposed to be taking to put kids in jeopardy. I've heard nothing but wonderful things about what you've done. And I heard from 3 people that wanted the graduation at Pierce to put our kids and our families in jeopardy. And I would never have taken a vote, even if there was one, to make that decision for somebody. My husband asked me, do you think I should go golfing? Whoa, that's a personal choice. I'm not making it for you. I'm not making it for our kids or their families. So now last week, I didn't fight for the kids. This week, I'm not fighting for the staff. I don't know what's going on here, but somebody's throwing my name around and I don't like it at all. I truly don't. They don't know me because I am a fighter and I will do whatever I can to beg Cicilline and White House. They've got to get us this money. But right now, this is an insurance policy to make sure that we don't destroy this school system if in fact the worst should happen. Thank you. I'm sorry. I had to vent.
Karen, and so if I may, Karen, thank you very much for that. And I think on top of that, you know, there's an irresponsibility that exists that existed in this city. And I'll tell you that in 2012, when Tony came in, we know that the school department was on a COD status with vendors because we didn't pay our bills.
Right.
So, you know, so we're trying to be responsible in the way that we prepare for the unknown. And the net of it is that, to your point, yes, if we get that funding, then we don't have to have this unfortunate impact. We don't have to take action, or we can reverse these layoffs. But it's important to note that while there's 33 names on, you know, with the teachers, there's 33 names. There aren't 33 positions being removed from the district. That is not the proposal. This nets out to be roughly, don't quote me on the number, but let's say a dozen positions.
Right.
And for, you know, and I know the superintendent did explain this, but, you know, to your point, Karen, it does need to be repeated because misinformation gets out there.
Well,
okay?
and I think it's purposely being misrepresented. People know I personally received a layoff letter for 5 years at the beginning of my career. This is done routinely. You have to, for insurance reasons. Certainly it wasn't this number, but 25 to 30 of us got a letter every year, and we were recalled when they found out they, in fact, got the state aid. And the person who's talking bad about me doing this did it themselves. Voted to do it themselves. So so I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on here. But this is a hard time for all of us. It's with a heavy heart that we're doing all of this and making these decisions. Everyone's under a lot of pressure. This is an ugly, ugly, ugly thing that's happening. And for somebody not to support us and to make it worse, I don't understand. I just don't understand.
And just to clarify, excuse me one second, right? So to clarify on the process, and I know the superintendent tried to go through this. So if you have one teacher that is in a position that is slated to be eliminated, and that teacher has 3 certifications, meaning that they are eligible to bid for 3 different jobs in the district, that means that there are 3 people that need to be given a layoff notice until we find out where that teacher will bid. So ultimately, if we don't replace any of the dozen or so jobs that are slated to be eliminated, that teacher will pick by seniority, they'll pick the job of their choice. The other 2 remaining certifications, those teachers will get recalled because their position, they were not bumped. But in order to be able to do that, to have the option, we need to make this notice now. Otherwise, like you said, if we don't put them on notice today and we don't get that funding, then we cannot lay anybody off. We will have the same number of staffing come next fiscal year, and we'll have to find other areas to cut $3.5 million. So,
and that's my point too, with being it's the law. We're following the law, just like we followed an executive order. We're doing what's right, and we're being judged for it. I don't understand. I feel this is the hardest thing I ever will be asked to vote on. I understand that.
Karen, this may help you guys. This may help you, and I apologize that nobody can see me. I am in the process of delivering food right now to the people that need it. But I would like to just confirm that Charlie and I partaked in a meeting this week with the School Committee Association of Rhode Island, their annual meeting, where all school committee members from across the state were there, as well as a guest speaker, senator from the State House, explained that this is what we have to do this year, that all districts are doing it, and yes, it does suck, but and as much as I hate this, and I had to continuously tell everybody how bad this is, I was reaffirmed, I guess, that we aren't the bad guys that we are set out to be. This is the law. We are doing the job that we ran for office for.
Thank you.
Before us have done it. School committees after us have done it. And apparently a couple times I didn't do the law because I did say no. So, Charlie was there. He did listen. The numbers were not very good that he was throwing out there, and he did a slide presentation. And one of the comments that were made by a school district was that they had not done layoffs yet, and they were pretty much not looking good.
Wow.
So, a lot of them, though, were removing art and music from their school districts. A lot of them did not find that to be particularly important. I am grateful that our district is very important. And by removing, they mean that they are laying off, which those teachers are probably going to go find other jobs.
And like Kathy said too, those districts, their fiscal year is June, right? They can't bring them back.
Right, and I think Charlie will agree with me. We were the only ones in that meeting that budgets were not affected by a June budget.
Yeah, so we're in good shape.
Everyone else, right. Everyone else is July.
Correct.
July.
So, I mean, the numbers, the slideshow was very eye-opening to me. And everyone was dealing with budgets with employees. And then they were going to look at, I think he said 80% of most of the districts were staffing. And the only thing that I would like to go over real fast before we continue is that the wording, this meeting is a repeat. Like if we were a rerun of Tuesday, we're rerunning the same meeting. We just legally, right, Catherine, cannot rerun the meeting. Like this is a rerun. This is not like
No, this is reaffirming our votes from Tuesday's meeting due to the fact that we did not post in City Hall for 48 hours. It was not delivered there until Tuesday morning, so that we, the advice of our attorney, he just said, have a special meeting and reaffirm the vote so there would be
right, the City Hall that was closed. So, so I just want to make sure people understand that we're not here trying to hide something on 5 o'clock on a Friday. This is a repeat of Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm not here trying to slide one over on this community.
No.
I'm trying to do what I was elected to do and make sure that our budget is done right so that we don't go into a deficit and we have major problems. So I just want to add that to what's happening.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Karen, for what you said. It was very, very good. Especially a teacher for 30 years.
Just if I can ask that question out, because I agree with you saying that it's just a replay from Tuesday, but am I correct? The only thing that got changed, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, is from termination on the papers to layoffs tonight. I believe that's the only thing
No.
There is no wording change on my paperwork.
Oh, there's no, Tony, the only change is in the line item with the teachers. When we went back and reviewed it after Tuesday's meeting, and we were doing letters, we found out that we took off 2 teachers from the layoff list because they had a second certification that wouldn't put them there. And then we had to add 1 on as a result of removing 1. So there is 1 less teacher, and that's the only change. Every other column is the same. Everything.
That's exactly, Kay. I wanted you to, because it's out there that it's all worded, and I try to compare my 2 and I couldn't notice except that 1 when you fill that blank in with that certification. You're right on that. That's why just when you said that as a replay, and I just wanted to make sure that Kathy explained that, because if somebody else out there knows that in the teaching world, then I wanted that to be clarified at this meeting, in other words, from where you said what you just said, Jess, exactly.
And
So there is
one more thing, any letters we send out to the teachers, the pre-letter and the one after this meeting, are all approved by our attorney. There's certain wording that we must use in those letters, and they're all approved by Ben Scunvio. And there was no change to that, no change.
That makes sense.
Superintendent Crowley,
Yes.
You did the personnel, all the personnel, or do you have more to do?
No, I'm all set with the personnel, Mr. Jonas. Everybody was approved. So we'll be voting on the teachers' layoffs 1 to 33 for certified staff. We had a motion.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion, not because I want to, but because I don't want to sit here till 12 o'clock tonight. I'll make the motion again with a heavy heart to, I'm sorry, the numbers, it's 1 to 34?
1 to 33.
I'm sorry, to lay off numbers 1 to 33 of the teachers. And we hope to bring every one of them back.
Yes.
Every one of them.
I'll second that, Charlie.
Is there any other discussion on this motion? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
One nay.
All right, on the paras, it's 1 through 36, Mr. Jonas. Our professionals. That's the same number as Tuesday, we're just reaffirming it.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. There's no further discussion. All in favor signify by saying. I'm sorry, was somebody saying something? If there's no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Next item.
1 to 31 of supervisory aides, Mr. Jonas.
Is there a motion before the committee?
So moved.
And Ms. Oliveira, you second that motion?
Yes, I will.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
One nay.
The
Next
next
item.
one is the administrative assistants 1 through 5, Mr. Jonas.
Is there a motion?
I wrote all this out.
So moved.
Is there a
Oh,
second?
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed, nay.
One nay.
Jonas, for this evening.
Superintendent Crowley, is anything else?
Nope, that's it, Mr. Jonas.
If no one else on the committee has anything, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?